All right, so we've been doing a lot of work with multiplying fractions by a whole number, and now we're going to take a look how we can use different strategies to multiply a fraction by a fraction. So I just want you to take a second, pause the video, and then see if you can kind of work through these three problems using what we've been doing of multiplying a fraction by a whole number. When we look at problem A, if we think about how we've been doing it, because it's 2/3 times 21, this is like saying that somebody earns $21 an hour and they're only working 2/3 of an hour. So when we section off our number line, I'm going to put 0 at the end and 21 on this end. Since our denominator is 3, I'm going to section it into 3 places. And since 21 divided by 3 is 7, I know that each piece is worth 7. So this becomes 7, 14, and 21. Since it's 2/3, our answer would be 14. Now if we look at that, if you think through the thought process of what we just did, a way we could do 3/5 times 40 without using the number line is I could take 40 divided by 5 because there's 5 sections. So each section's worth 8. Since there's 3 sections, because it's 3/5, I could do 3 times 8 and get an answer of 24. On the last problem, same type of idea. I'm going to take the $12 an hour, split it into 6 pieces. So each piece is worth 2. Since we work 5/6 of an hour, it becomes 5 times 2, or $10. So now we're going to take a look at another situation. So no longer working with whole numbers. Jed has half a tray of brownies left over from his birthday party. He's hungry and needs 2/3 of the leftover brownie. So we want to figure out how much of one tray of brownies did Jed eat. One thing I want you to notice is the word of. A lot of times, because it's 2/3 of the leftover, in this case the leftover was a half, we're using multiplication. In this problem, we are finding 1/2 of 2/3, which is the same as 1/2 times 2/3. For me, whenever I picture a tray of brownies, I imagine a rectangular pan. Since it says there's a half a tray of brownies, I'm going to take my pan, split it in half, and I'm going to shade my half. At this point, we're only working with the half because remember, over here, there's no brownies left, so we're not concerned with this part anymore. I'm going to look at just the shaded part, and I'm going to section it into 3 pieces because it says it's 2/3. Since he eats 2/3 of that, he's eating that piece and that piece. When we look at the entire pan, he's now eaten 2 pieces, but we have to continue those lines to make equivalent sized pieces in our pan. If we look at the whole, now we see there's 6 pieces total, so he ate 2/6 of a tray of brownies. Now my challenge for you is for you to pause the video and see how you could kind of model this one. So if Ernesto is very particular about the pan pizza he makes for his family, he puts pepperoni on 3/4 of the pizza. I know that a lot of people like to use circles, but because of what we're doing, I'm going to recommend that you make either a rectangular or a square pizza. He puts pepperoni on 3/4, so I'm going to take my pizza and split it into fourths. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to look at, here's my pepperoni. On 3/4 of the pizza. This 1/4 that's left over is now just cheese pizza. So we're going to leave that alone because he says he put sausage on 1/4 of the pepperoni part. So this part, remember we said is cheese. So we're going to take the pepperoni and we're going to section it off to show the sausage. Since it says it's 1/4 of the pepperoni part, I'm going to separate this into 4 equal parts. But remember, the cheese part is still getting cut. And then he is putting sausage on 1/4 of it. So here, when we're looking horizontally, 1/4 actually looks at this entire way here, because this would be 1/4 of the pizza the way we cut it. So that's why we have to shade in those pieces. So in our problem, we have the 3/4 that we started with, and we're multiplying it by the 1/4 that he's putting on the sausage. And now when we look, we have 3 pieces that have both pepperoni and sausage out of 16 total pieces of pizza. Now let's look at a different example. Now we have a square that's already been shaded, and we are going to look at, can we create a multiplication problem for what was shown? I like to look across the top first and see how many sections it is. So in this case, we see 3 total sections, and when we look vertically, there's 1, 2 out of the 3 that are shaded. So we're starting with 2/3. We're going to multiply, and now we're going to look horizontally how many sections, which is 5. So remember, this officially goes in there to make it all equal pieces. And now when we look, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of those fifths that are shaded. And then if we look at the total, there's 8 that are darkly shaded out of 15 total squares.